Alright, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 most important lessons that I learned from Andrew Tate. Now, before we get into the video, in the description we've got a link to my Instagram where you can apply for Money Dojo. That's a private network. If you've got any questions about it, I made a video about it previously, and you can just message me on Instagram to apply and ask any questions about it that you may have. Second, also in the description, we've got a link to my Telegram channel where I'm dropping a couple messages a day, voice messages, value, just whatever I may think about that could help you guys, it's in there. Anyway, stay tuned, make sure you watch this whole video through, all 5 points. The last one is pretty important. So, number 1, the most important lesson, or one of the most important lessons that I learned from Andrew Tate is speed. Okay? Speed is vital. The time at which it takes for someone to take action, for someone to implement what they've learned, what they've been taught, the time it takes for that to happen is going to be the time it takes for them to succeed. If there's 2 people and one of them learns something and takes a couple weeks to implement what they've learned, that's all right. Okay, they might get there. They'll get there eventually, but it will take a lot longer. Whereas if the other person learns something and implements it right then and there, within an hour, then over the course of those next 2 weeks, they can go out and learn another one thing a day. Maybe they could change one aspect a day of just whatever it is they do. They could change it, they could edit it, they could just make it a bit smoother, whatever it may be. And they've then changed over 14 things over the course of those 2 weeks. Let's just say it's 14 little things that make everything run smoother, that make everything work better, that make everything feel better. And they've done 14 things in 2 weeks, one a day. That's pretty simple. Whereas the other guy, he's only implemented one thing. And he's only learnt about one thing. So it's all about speed. It's all about the speed at which you learn things, and then the speed at which after that you go on to implement them and use them within your day-to-day life. Because it's all well and good learning these new things, but if you're not going to implement them, then they're not any help at all. So you have to make sure that you're not only learning as much as you can, but you're implementing it as much as you can as well. And now this is why it's so important to stay conscious and make sure you're focused day in, day out, so you can acknowledge what it is you're doing. Next, this is another one that's very, very important, and it comes with, it makes a lot of sense to me, and it's don't chase happiness. That's because you see a lot of people, they're running after happiness, that constant stimulation, but instead what you want to do is chase pride. If you're going to chase an emotion, you want to chase pride. And how Andrew Tate explains this is that pride itself isn't gay pride, it's none of that. Pride is being prideful about what you have achieved, about what you have done. Being proud of what it is you have achieved so far. So if you're chasing that feeling of being proud of what you've achieved, then you're going to be extremely successful, because you're not chasing after emotions, you're chasing after things to be proud of. You're chasing after experiences and actions that you can say, I have done that. If you're asked about things that you've done this year that you're proud of, that you think are amazing, what would those be? Would it be maybe you tried to start a new business? Maybe you started going to the gym. Maybe you made your first 5K month, whatever it may be. It's all about, are you proud of it? And chasing that feeling means you're constantly going to be chasing progress, because being proud means you're making progress. You've got to be proud of yourself day to day. And by doing that is by achieving something every day. So it's very important to make sure that you're chasing the right emotions and also using the right emotions to help you. A lot of emotions can be very useful as tools if you can control them. For example, anger, very useful to power you, to push you forward. Anxiety and stress, again, amazing motivator, can help push you forward. So there's tons of different ways you can utilize an emotion to help you succeed. The next one that I'd say, that the third lesson that I have from Andrew Tate would be to find a network, to find a brotherhood, to find a group, to find a close friend. So Andrew has Tristan, his brother, and then outside of that, he's got the War Room members, people like Justin Mauler, Sterling Cooper, Sneeko, Luke, but I'm not too sure. But he's got his own group around that. So if you can continuously decide to choose a better group, if you can get that good group around, you can find those 1, 2, maybe 3 really close friends of yours that you spend practically all of your time with. And then outside of that, you've got another group of people that you can go to and ask any questions. Then there's no way you can't win. Because if you're all heading in a similar direction of winning, you're all heading in that direction, you're all willing to help each other grow, help each other progress, help each other learn. You're all there to help each other. That's the main reason. So by doing that, by being around each other, by constantly being around the people that want to help you, then you're going to grow, you're going to learn. And it's even better if you've got those 1 or 2 really close friends as well that can constantly help you no matter what path you're on, no matter what stage you're at. Because if you can constantly just go to them and say, listen, I'm struggling with this, can we sit down, can we brainstorm it for 5-10 minutes, can we figure out a battle plan so I can attack this, so I can get it done. And that's very simple, because if you've got someone else to have a different perspective than you, they can just change your perspective a small bit, but it could make the biggest impact. Because with a different view, you see different things. You see different areas that you might not have seen before, different parts of your business that you may have missed out or looked over. And by having someone else look in, by having another set of eyes, a different perspective, you can change those things and make sure they're up to standard. And now also, having a close friend, having a brother, so to say, is very, very important for your own self-progress, because it allows you to have someone that you can be accountable to, you can be accountable for. So they can hold you to what you say. That's the main thing. I find that I rely on my very close friend. We talk very often, we talk daily, and we probably have a 20-30 minute phone call daily sort of thing. And we talk about, okay, what's the plan? What are we doing? Okay, have we done this? Are we doing this? What's this here? This. We'll layer out what we've got to do for the day. We'll set it out. We'll talk about it. And say, okay, so what are you doing there? What are you doing there? How are you going to do this? Once we've gone over it all, then the next day we'll talk about, okay, so how did yesterday go? You did that. Great. But you missed that. Okay, so we've got to work on that, and you've got to do double of that today. So it's very, very simple to keep each other accountable, and it's very easy to do that when you've got someone else, but it's very difficult it can be very difficult and very draining to constantly be hammering yourself when you haven't got anyone else there to motivate you, to keep you on task. So by having someone else there who can constantly support you and help you and just talk to you and give you a different perspective, that's what's going to benefit you so much. Okay. The fourth lesson even that I have from Andrew Tate is work harder. And this is very, very simple. It's a very basic thing, but working harder it's self-explanatory, but most people don't realize it. I've only just come into the realization of this recently, after kind of watching some clips, understanding it, and it's more about a lot of people, they walk through the day unconsciously. They don't focus on what they're doing. They're not awake. They just drift and wander through their daily tasks. So if you can wake up and be conscious, be aware with what you're doing day to day, second to hour to hour, then you will beat practically all your competition. If you can, every second you're awake, be thinking, be scheming, be learning, trying to think about the best way to do that thing, the best way to progress there, whatever it may be, as long as if you're constantly aware and awake of what you're doing, then you're going to reach a great level. You're not going to miss out on the fact that you're not going to miss out on time, on all of these opportunities, because you're constantly going to be working, you're constantly going to be focused and thinking about what you're doing next. And by doing that, by constantly being aware, by constantly being awake, you're going to have more focus. You're going to be more aware. You're going to realize more things. You're going to have more time to learn these things. You're going to have more time to implement these things. You're basically giving yourself an extra couple of hours of the day that you can put into your work, which is remarkable. If you said, oh, do you want a 30-hour day instead of a 24-hour day? Yeah, 100% I do. Okay, stop spending all that time on your phone. Oh no, I don't want to do that. People waste time when they have so much of it. There's so much more you could accomplish within a day. Within the 16, the 18 hours that you're awake, there's so much that you could do. There's so much that you could achieve if you just stopped wasting time. So you can always work harder. There's always more that you can do. And you should be stressed out by the fact that you are not successful yet. You should be stressed out by the fact that you haven't achieved your goals yet. And that should motivate you to keep working until you achieve them. Fifth and final point now. This is the final one and then we're done. Responsibility for your own actions. Being responsible for what you've done in the past, for what you do day to day, and for where you are now. Now, I get a fair bit of backlash for this, but if you start to realize that you are in this position, in your current position, for a reason, and that reason is you have you have decided to act or react in a certain way to every situation you have been in. And that is why you are in your current situation. That is why you are where you are right now, because you have chosen to act and react in a certain way, and that's brought you to where you are today. So by accepting that you were the one that made the mistakes, you were the one that missed those opportunities, you were the one that should have been working, that should have been pushing at those times when you didn't, you can now accept that, and you can now understand that it's your job, it's your responsibility to work harder to reach those goals, because no one else is going to do it for you. So you've got to start working harder. You've got to start choosing to be responsible for your own success. You've got to start saying, okay, I'm going to be successful, but it's my responsibility. Not only am I responsible for what I've done in the past, for the mistakes I've made, and for the time I wasted, but now I'm choosing to be responsible for the present, for the time I have today, for the time I have tomorrow. I'm choosing to be responsible for that and use it in the best, most productive way possible. And it's very simple to understand, because having this responsibility for your own time and understanding that you did make mistakes, but then learning from them is amazing. So going forward now, I realise I have so much time in the day that I can use every second, and I can achieve so much within that time. And I'm now going to be responsible for, in 5-10 years, when I have achieved my goals, I can look back and say, yeah, I made all the right decisions. I am responsible for this position I'm in. I am the reason that I am here today. So 5-10 years from now, I can say that. I'll be able to say, I'm the reason I'm at this position. And that's what I want to happen. I want to say to myself, you have done it, not through begging, not through waiting for things to happen, not through asking for handouts, through hard work and through responsibility of your own actions, of your own time. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys make the same change. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.